Hi, beautiful souls. We have Jesus with us here today. Everyone say hello. My beautiful bestie, Samantha, her mother gave this to me, and it was so fun. So we'll share a quick story. So I go over her house, right? That's nothing unusual. And I see a little Jesus standing there. And I was like, oh my God, you have these little Jesuses. Where did you get them? She's like, oh, I ordered them online. I have extra. Would you like one? And I was like, yes, I would love one, right? So then my bestie was about to hand me one. And I was like, wait, no, I want to see what color comes through. So I just closed my eyes like this. And I turned over and I was digging. Boom. Got a blue one. And if you know me, blue is my favorite color. So we're going to have Jesus here with us during the reading. I don't want him to topple over, so I would like him to be visible, but also protecting. Okay. So he's going to stand right here. Stand guard. All right. So for today's reading, I'm not sure what is going to come through, but I do know that whatever comes through is always for the highest good of the collective. I was told we're going to start with the purple deck, and then we are going to clarify with the pink deck. So I'm going to move the pink deck out of the way, and let us get started. All right. So Holy Spirit, thank you for being ever present during this reading, and even after this reading. May your energy be imbued upon every listener, and may the light of the Holy Spirit surround and protect everybody for their highest good. May miracle follow miracle, and may wonder never cease. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to ground a little bit further. Now again, if you give me consent to read for you, you just have to say, I consent to this. Something cool that happens when you're listening to my readings. While I am reading for you, there is an energy exchange happening. I am not asking for anything from you except that the Holy Spirit be imbued onto you. That is my only request. I only request that the highest love be imbued onto you. And as that, while you are sitting with me during this reading, things start to release from you, okay? So you might feel chills, you might have flashbacks of people, places, and things that are ready to go. You might see colors, you might have different experiences, right? The experiences vary from person to person because everybody is unique and everybody is on a different leg of the journey home, so to speak. Okay? So, wisdom. All right, so that being said, Holy Spirit, let's continue. Thank you for everybody that is here. If you guys could like the live, because it really helps push the message out. So we have the Lovers coming out, and naturally I know that for a lot of people Lovers represents relationships, right? But it's also choice points. It's a decision, okay? But if we are reflecting on the relationship aspect, how comfortable are you with speaking the things that you need and or speaking your desires out into the universe? Ooh, so are some of you afraid to actually make contact with God, with the Holy Spirit, and request things? I'm hearing yes. And I'm hearing that this is really something, it's almost like you don't want to bother God with your requests. Like, you're like, I know that there's like way bigger things going on out there, and I know that like there are other people that are in more need, so like my stuff can wait. God, I get that, right? And I understand why you'd feel the way. That is a very kind position to hold, right? That is very empathetic. You are quite literally placing others' needs in front of your own. Again, very honorable thing to do. And God commends you for that. There is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? But I'm also feeling, if we're holding this belief, we essentially are also limiting the range and potential of God, not only to interact within our lives, but also the lives of others, right? If we are afraid that our wants, needs, and desires are not of importance because there are other things of importance, right? You essentially are pushing yourself away from receiving the graces. And you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart. There's nothing wrong, right? You're doing it also to avoid conflict. You're also doing it because you know that, your time will come. But God is also reaching out to you to let you know, like, your wants and your heart's desires are just as important as somebody getting fed for the day. Okay? Don't minimize what your heart's wants and desires are because you feel that they are not important enough, or because you feel like they can take a back seat. Because what a lot of us don't understand is our heart's wants and desires are directly tied into our kingdom come. What does that mean? It's tied into our soul's purpose. It's tied into the reason why you have quite literally incarnated onto this planet, right? It's tied into the foundations of the seeds that need to be planted by you to help generations to come. So don't feel guilty for those big wants and big desires, because I'm hearing you want these things because you want to help others. That's a noble thing. That's a beautiful thing. That is more honorable. And trusting and knowing that you're allowed to have your wants and desires because God is quite literally the one that are planting those seeds in, right? Because I feel like this collective has done the work. I'm seeing a great differential between the egotistic wants and desires and that of the soul want and desires. So again, if you are still part of this collective who are still balancing out what your ego wants as to what your soul wants, maybe this isn't a lesson of itself for you, right? Where is it that you're holding your weight? Is it what your ego actually wants, or is it what your soul wants? Because those two desires are completely different. The weights may seem equal, but the weight in an exponential and energy sense far outweigh each other, right? Those that are the desires of the soul, of the heart and soul, that naturally has the heart energy imbued on it. And when the heart energy is naturally imbued and opened, that is almost a key telltale sign that they are more willing to help and serve others, correct? Because you have to have a level of empathy to have your heart open. Is this making sense? So the wants of your hearts and soul's desires are exponentially more... I'm seeing, so what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is energy spilling outward from you and then morphing into the fields around you and making things more beautiful, right? It's like, whoo, I got full body chills. So your soul's hearts, wants, and desires not only cultivate yourself to grow, but also cultivate others to grow as well. So if you're still struggling between knowing the difference between an ego want and desire and a soul want and desire, that's a major clue for you. Okay? If it cultivates life for others as well as yourself without depleting from yourself, right? Then you know that is a soul's want and desire. And those, my love, you are more than welcome to want and also to claim those because it's your birthright. I know we're taught otherwise, but my love, it's time to learn anew, right? We don't have cognitive dissonance here. We allow ourselves to take in new levels of information. We allow ourselves to discern, allow ourselves to sit with it, and then allow also the highest to come in and fill in the empty spaces that need to be filled, right? There's many, many aspects to this. So again, when it comes to your soul's wants and desires, do not feel guilty for them. Do not feel like you are unworthy of it, because remember, God puts them on your heart for a reason. You see the angel up at the top that's a cherub? Okay, we have the Elohim, the Seraphim, and the cherubim, right? Those are like the top three angelic races, okay? So it's quite literally, what did I say? It's like God putting these wants and desires on your heart for a reason, right? So now that we know we don't have to feel guilty, let's clarify on a pink deck to see what's coming through about the Lover's card. I heard stop. Okay. I'll take the first three. Wow. Okay, and yes, to clarify, on the nose, when nose is itchy, we have, to clarify, right, what is it about choice points? What are we holding on to, right? And now we have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups represents deep hidden emotions. Sometimes it's emotions of guilt, shame, right? Depression, also fear, angst, anxiety, loneliness, being afraid to be seen, being afraid to be heard, being afraid to be perceived also is different than being afraid to be seen. Okay? So now, I'm hearing these phrases that I just let you guys know of. These are essentially subconscious programs and mental programs that are tied into the receiving aspect of you with the Nine of Pentacles here. Okay? Nine of Pentacles. Again, my nose is itching on the nose. A Nine of Pentacles, this is gender neutral. We all have divine feminine and divine masculine energy, right? This is a solitary energy. So this talks about you, yourself. And when I see her holding the coin, this to me is a visualization of her looking at her world. Quite literally, like the manifestations that she has created, right? And she's done it all on her own because Nine of Pentacles is very solitary energy, but she's got it, right? Oh, and why am I saying Nine of Pentacles and that's Queen of Pentacles? That's so interesting. So interesting. So a lot of you, again, they're saying because this collective has been the one to do it on their own for so long. And so a lot of them are afraid that the help that they need won't come in because they haven't been able to receive the help that they need from their surrounding community. Ooh, shit. Excuse my French. Okay? So that's also why this is coming through with the Queen of Pentacles. But now, when you have the Queen of Pentacles, but they're asking me to talk more about the Nine of Pentacles. When we have, okay, so 9 represents completion, okay? So you allowing yourself to recognize that you wanting certain heart and soul desires is not, in fact, shameful. It's not a guilty thing. It's not a negative thing. I'm feeling quite literally like an energy release now happening within my body. So you could feel a flush happening within your chest. Also, I'm feeling it like into my stomach. Okay, so, and I just saw something pass saying Atlantis. So a lot of this is also past life energy too that's tied into it. Because remember, we are multi-dimensional beings here, right? And this is not our first life. And so as we go through different layers of our experiences through our different incarnations, we pick up things. And so one of the things God is asking you now, and the Holy Spirit is asking you now to release at this time so that it can come in quickly with the Eight of Wands, is your guilt for what it is that your heart and soul desires. Because you have these in your heart and mind for a reason, right? Because remember, as I said, if it allows us to cultivate growth with the Queen of Pentacles, right? If it allows us to not only grow ourselves, but also spark life within others, that is something that the Most High is quite literally putting into you with the Wands energy, right? The flame of creation. Like it's quite literally going to ignite the world around you in the most beautiful shape, way, and form. Ooh, I heard you're giving form to the formless. You are giving form to the formless. Wow. And remember, that's a lot of work. That's not a light task, my friends. If you are giving form to the formless, like that's no small feat here. And my jaw is getting tight, so if you might be clenching your jaw recently and like wondering why am I clenching my jaw. Let's release that, Holy Spirit. Yeah. How are we taking this? Okay. All right. Yeah. So essentially, my loves, you allowing yourself to release this final thing. Look at how it came out. We have the Wheel of Fortune, right? Then we have the Eight of Cups upright, and then we have the Ten of Wands. It's like this was I don't want to say the final, right? It's like one of the big layers of your onion that you are unraveling. Oh, and I'm hearing, if you are listening to this reading, following the reading that we did from the other day, that this was your 9th layer, so to speak. right? The shame, like you dealing with shame and guilt for asking for things. Okay? So this is your clue for your 9th layer. Because now once you unravel that, you get to go to also number 8. Okay? So that is so cool too. I love it when things connect. Love it. Love it. Love, love, love. Love it. Love, love, love. And I'm hearing, well, everything's connected, of course. Of course. All right. So Holy Spirit, is there any, I heard final clarifiers. Okay. Final clarifiers. I heard bees, dragons, ships, pirate ships specifically. Very interesting. Treasure chests. Okay. Talking about pirate ships and treasure chests. We have Ace of Pentacles coming in. Okay, so this could be finding coins, finding feathers, finding things that you supposedly thought you lost, I'm hearing. Wow, and then we have 5 of Swords. So another confirmation is 5 of Swords represents finding, like having victory over a battle, but making sure it's more of like a wise approach, right? This battle is not egotistical, right? It's you allowing yourself to view things from this higher perspective now. And even your wants, wishes, and desires. Allowing yourself to view your wants, wishes, and desires from this higher perspective allows it to manifest a lot faster too. Why, I'm hearing? Why does that happen? Why? Because you quite literally, you open the floodgates. You clear all energetic blocks and boundaries from the energy of wealth, of your manifestations from coming in and bouncing back off of you, right? You become a vibratory match. You become resonant, like you reach resonance with what it is that you are manifesting. And that is how you achieve and lock in your manifestations also, okay? All right, my friends, that was a beautiful reading. Remember, it's okay to want big things, especially when these big things help other people grow, okay? There's a reason for that. God has put you in these emotions and these wants and desires for a reason, because he's putting you in places where it will be delivered, right? And remember, I'm hearing this is a community. Like, we are building tribes here. We are reconnecting with our tribe. So you can't do this alone anymore. It's time for you to allow others to come in, right? And trust and know, even though in the past they haven't received you properly, God's going to make sure the right people come in. But part of the reason why the wrong people have kept coming in was because, we're coming full circle, you held on to this belief that your wants and desires were shameful because they were bigger and better things that God needs to take care of. But my love, you are worthy of being taken care of in all shapes and forms. Remember that. Remember. Okay? I love you. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. If you would like a one-on-one reading, please reach out to me, because I will never reach out to you. You can message me on any of my socials. I have Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and my name is the same over all of them, Jennifer Podolak. That's me. Oh, also, they're asking me to mention that I also wrote a book. It's linked in my TikTok. It helps to release trauma and access higher levels of consciousness. It speaks about numerology. It speaks about dream work, like what certain dreams mean, why we experience the things we experience, what certain pains in the body correlate to what emotional and mental questions or programs might be held or trapped within those areas. Because remember, fascia is a memory keeper. Okay, think of like fascia as a physical representation of the Akashic records for your life. That's what I'm getting. All right. I love y'all. Have a great day.